Hey guys, today we are going to be making lemon blueberry cake. This is definitely one of my favorite cakes. Like, it's absolutely delicious, and it's even more delicious when it's on top of warm vanilla ice cream. That's the best. Okay, so we just got this recipe out of our cookbook here, and it's seriously one of our favorites. So let's get started. This is where I always end it professional. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, in your larger bowl, you'll need two bowls, one smaller and one bigger. Now you're going to take the bigger bowl, set the littler one aside. The little one is for the dry ingredients. Now you're going to have all your ingredients here. So the first thing we're going to do is add the butter, and we just melted this in our stove here. And just melted in our stove. It's a third cup of melted butter in your bowl. Now you want to make sure this is slightly cooled. You know, it don't have to be cold or room temperature or anything. Just make sure it's not burning hot to where it will cook the eggs. So, and if it is still a little hot, you can either just let it cool down or you can temper the eggs. Now you'll need 2 large eggs, and I'm just going to reuse this butter bowl because I don't want to waste any more dishes. Not waste them, but dirty any more dishes. We're going to crack one egg. Now you're going to add the dry into the wet ingredients later on. Okay, so after that's done, you want to scramble or mix and beat them up. Okay, so that is done, and we are going to add the eggs into the butter. Again, make sure the butter is cooled so it don't burn the eggs. And we are just going to mix those up. Now that was 2 eggs. So I'm gonna get my whisk here so then I don't gotta stir it with a fork. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is the sugar. 1 cup of sugar. Now the sugar does not go in the dry ingredients, it goes in the wet. We're going to add the sugar into the wet ingredients. There's powder. It's like powdered sugar. Okay. So now we're going to mix this up to where it's like a sugar, butter, egg mixture. Now we're just going to mix that up. The next thing we're going to add is the milk. 1/2 cup of milk. And again, that was 1 cup of sugar, and we're going to add 1/2 cup of milk to that. These are spilling all over the counter. Okay. Okay. So we're going to mix all that together in this bowl, and it should have the consistency of like that. Like that. There. So now we're going to add the lemon juice. Now, the recipe says 2 tablespoons of lemon zest, grated lemon zest, but we don't keep lemons in the house, and we don't have lemons right now, but we do have lemon juice, and it will work just perfect if you just add lemon juice instead of lemon zest. Or if you want to mix things up a bit, you could add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice and 1 tablespoon of lemon zest. If you want to do the zest and the juice, you could do that too, probably. Okay, so I think that is it for, okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and add the blueberries. Now, the recipe calls for 1 cup of blueberries. What we are actually going to do is we have some homemade blueberry sauce from our blueberry trees up in the front of the property. We had so many blueberries. We made all kinds of desserts, and we canned a bunch of jars of blueberry sauce. So we have some that are low sugar and some that are very sweet, you know, and we are using the sweetened kind today. So I'm gonna add that here in a little bit because I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do when it's in the loaf pan. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the blueberries. Now this is just literally just a handful of blueberries. These are frozen. You can use fresh, but these we are using frozen. We're gonna mix it in, and it gives it a really pretty color actually. Like, really pretty color. I don't know if I can see all the recipe. It gives it a unique color. Y'all probably can't see it, but it does give it a purpley color. Y'all will see it when you make it, but it gives it a purpley, pretty color. Okay, so once those, and you don't want to beat them down to like pulpy, you just want to mix them. Okay, so once that is done, we are going to double check you did everything. Okay, so now you're going to do the dry ingredients. You are going to add 1.5 cups of flour, and get my whisk. There's a blueberry stuck in the whisk. Okay. We are going to make a well. Isn't that what they're called, wells? In the middle of them, a well. Actually, you don't gotta add a well. Okay, hold on. Okay, you don't have to add a well because we're not adding the wet into the dry. I don't know why I was making a well. Okay, so now you're just going to start adding your dry ingredients. You want to add 1 teaspoon of, oh wait, hold on. Okay, 1 teaspoon of salt. Seems like a lot of salt, don't it? But it's not, actually. Yeah, okay. And you want to crush in your hands because you want to make sure you don't get a big thump of salt in there. A big clump of salt. And then you're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Okay. So now that we got that, we are going to add, let's see, now we're going to add, now you have a choice here. You can add nuts, you can add the nuts on top. I have salt in my hand. Yeah. Okay, I had salt in my hand and I ate a nut and now I taste salt, nothing but salt. Okay. You're going to add, you can add 1/2 cup of nuts in the batter when it's all mixed together. Like, you can add it right now, or you can put them on top. I'm gonna actually probably do like 1/2 and 1/2 or something. So once, not gonna add these in yet actually. Once all the dry and the wet is all mixed up, all together to where it's a thick batter, you know, then I'm gonna add the nuts. And I'll probably use 1/2 of that and then 1/2 on top. So here's what I'm gonna do. And I think we are done with the dry. So I'll set all this aside, and we already buttered our loaf pan. We got that buttered. Oh, we got a preheat oven. Put it on that. Bake it on 350. So you're gonna bake that on 350 for around an hour. Okay. So once that is done, I don't know why I'm making a well. Okay. So I keep making a well in this because I'm used to the blueberry cake where you add the dry into the wet or something. Or the wet into the dry with the blueberry cake. We are going to add the dry into the wet. I'm losing my mind here. We're going to add the dry into the wet. And mix all this together. Mixing is my absolute favorite part. It's so fun. Okay, so we're gonna mix all this together, and I'm telling y'all, y'all will absolutely love this recipe. Y'all need to make it like right now. When this video comes out, y'all should make this because it's really good, especially if you have ice cream. Now it's gonna kind of look like muffin batter, kind of. Now it's gonna be a thick, goopy, delicious dough. Now make sure you get the bottom of the bowl. All right. So now is when I'm going to add, let's see, this is 1/2 cup. So I'm gonna add 1/2 the nuts, which would probably be a 1/4 cup. So I'm gonna add about a 1/4 cup of the nuts in the batter, and then the other 1/4 on top of it. So, or you can leave it out if you have like a nut allergy, or you know, you just don't like nuts overall, or like they're too hard or whatever. You can totally leave the nuts out. But we like nuts, so, and these are very finely crushed. They're not powder and they're not big and chunky, but they are kind of in the middle. So once that is looking like that, thick, we are going to add, actually that's it for that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pour it in our flour buttered loaf pan. And, okay, so I almost forgot what I was doing. Oop, I just dropped a big clump on the counter. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, let's see, that's probably, I wanted to have half of the batter. The recipe calls, what you do is you pour half of the batter in the bowl on the bottom of the loaf pan. Then you add your blueberry sauce, or if you don't have blueberry sauce, then you could take some blueberries, you just sprinkle them on the top anyway. You could take the blueberry sauce and pour it over the middle, and then you cover it back up with the rest of the batter, so then when you cut it, it's like a really cool line in the bread of blueberries. It's super pretty. So the batter will be too soupy if you, where's my spoon? Did I drop it? Where'd my spoon go? Can't find my spoon. Okay, I did have a spoon though. So you're going to just scoop, if you have blueberry sauce, scoop out the blueberries. So then the batter isn't just so soupy, and it's not soupy because it won't be, yeah, it'll make it too thin, it just won't be right. So you want to mainly get the blueberries from the juice so you don't get too much liquid in there. And I'm gonna save some of this juice because I'm gonna drizzle on top. Now, I guess I'll talk about drizzles right now while I'm doing this. You can add powdered sugar drizzles, and this recipe has a thing. Okay, 1 cup of powdered sugar and 1 tablespoon of butter, and 2 tablespoons of lemon juice for a drizzle. But we don't have powdered sugar. If y'all remember the banana cake video, we still haven't gotten any powdered sugar yet. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm going to just mix some of the blueberry juice and just drizzle on top. So Olivia, can you come here and get a shot of this? It's so pretty. I'll put it right here. That's what it looks like. It's really, really pretty. Okay, so that is only half the batter though. Now we're going to add the remaining batter. Now, or if you want, you can not put so much blueberry on the bottom, so where you can make it kind of a layer. You can put dough, and then you can put blueberries, and then you can put more dough, and then more blueberries on top. You can do that, but I added quite a bit of sauce and stuff, so I'm just going to be doing it on the middle part. Now I can't get this all the good stuff out of the bottom. So I'm going to be, there's some on the counter. So I'm going to be using a spatula. See all that you'd be wasting if you only used a whisk? It's a lot. And everybody knows that you cannot waste. It's very important not to waste. So just make sure you get every last piece of dough or drop of dough. And there's still a lot more in here you cannot waste. So I'm going to get every single little, get because God gives you all this marvelous food and you can't waste it. So that's why we're not going to be wasting today. And it's bad to waste. It's very important not to waste. Okay, so I got every single last drop of dough out of the bowl. And if y'all can see, can they see on the sides there? Mm-hmm. The blueberry sauce is shining through. That's so pretty. So, do you think I should drizzle a little bit of the juice on top, you reckon? Or I'll just put a few drops there. Okay. Oh, it's polka dots, look. Okay, so once the oven preheats, I'm just gonna set it right here for now. Once the oven preheats, we're gonna clean up this ginormous mess. Oh, the pecans. Look, pecans. I forgot the pecans. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the remaining 1/4, about 1/4 of the pecans on top. And in the banana cake, I was like, I wish I would have shown y'all us cutting it, but I absolutely forgot. So, that is going to be amazing. This is going to be amazing. Okay, so I got that. Let me come see what it looks like. Now it's supposed to be like jelly-ish. Jelly-ish, like that. So I'm going to clean up all of this mess, because it is a mess.